So I've definitely felt that tension of the double bind in my position in leadership at my church, and mostly not because of what people have pressed onto me, but the preconceived ideas and stories I've heard from the past of when I come to the table and I'm passionate and I have ideas that I want to share and push forward, that if I'm too strong, I'm afraid that I'll be seen as controlling or trying to overstep my boundaries. And so often I find with grievance, I think back on this, that I've squelched the Holy Spirit within myself because I'm so afraid to be seen as some of the people I've heard of, or of those ideas that weren't even directed at me, but were in the culture before I was there. And being the first woman in my organization to be in that position, there's that weight of, if I do this wrong, I'm going to perpetuate that lie instead of overcome it. So there's a lot of where I feel to overcome that, what has been successful for me is to just share that, to talk with my fellow male and female leaders and bring that out into the light, which often has just squelched that. A lot of it was in my mind. It was a lie that just became bigger because I was holding it inside, and I felt a lot of support. I don't think I would be in this position if I hadn't took that step to be vulnerable. And I think it's actually important for men and women both to be vulnerable in leadership positions with each other, because it was actually the vulnerability of other men that allowed me to feel that I could share too, that I was feeling these pressures. When women are struggling with that feeling of inadequacy in leadership, I think the best thing you can do is have a trusted circle of leaders that you respect and that are safe, that you share that with. Because I truly believe a lot of what we struggle with inside is when we keep it inside, it becomes blown out of proportion, and it takes just a little bit of bringing it out into the light to help change the culture, and also to squelch those lies that we have replace truth with, and then replace truth back with that. In my experience, what has been most successful in helping women leaders thrive is to simply just invite them into the conversation, into the experience, and also to let them see at every level, to men and women both, to see that leadership is really influence, and we all have people in our life that we're influencing. And if we can grow in the way that we see that, if we can grow in ourselves, in our own self-leadership, which is a concept that I've really taken to believe is like ground zero for leading well, to learn to lead ourselves well, to be self-aware, to have our beliefs aligned with truth. And so if we're leading ourselves well and we're controlling our minds and controlling the things that take our minds to those places, as women, I know that we often can get stuck in our mind, and we get stuck in these things that get blown out of proportion, or that bring us anxiety that aren't necessarily true. But if we can learn to lead ourselves in truth, to be aligned in perspective, we're going to be a lot more powerful in the way that we can influence others.